Brazilian side.
Yeah, there we go. If you're still here, thanks for watching. And thanks for all the support and like. I really appreciate the YouTube community. I hope you enjoy this video. It's really hard to shoot waterfalls because especially here because there's so many things that are happening. But it's a true wonder of the world. So let's go through some practical tips on how to visit Iguazu Falls and how to shoot these waterfalls. We are going to talk about how to get there, for how long, where to stay, how to get around the park, when to go, and the gear I've used, and my creative process. There are chapters below here if you want to skip to a specific section. Before we start, if you don't know already, the waterfalls are located in the National Park, which is shared by Argentina and Brazil. So it's separated by a river, and so you can actually visit both sides. So a common question that I see here on YouTube is to know what side is better. To be honest, I think it depends on the weather. Everyone wants a rainbow. So if they don't see it, it's not a great experience. But for a photographer or filmmaker, it is actually the gray weather and the brown water that makes it easier to shoot and give this unique perspective. So how to get there? I was already in Argentina, so I flew from Buenos Aires, caught a 1 hour early morning flight that left at 7 a.m. and got me to the park entrance about around 8:30, 9 a.m. You must be wondering, what about your luggage? They indeed have lockers in the park of all size, really, for about a couple of dollars. You can store your stuff, and also it's great if you need to get changed or anything. It's up until 5:30, which should give you plenty of time. A bit of logistic. I only had 2 days to visit the waterfall. So what I did, I hired a driver for the day. He picked me up at the airport, then drove me to the park entrance, which took about half an hour. And then after that, when I finished my visit, he drove me to my hotel, which was on the Brazilian side. So all this service for about 30-40 USD, which brings me to the second point. How long do you need there? I think 2 full days is just perfect. There are extra excursions such as getting soaking water on a boat or going to a bird park in the Brazilian side. But to be honest, even the Brazilian side doesn't even take that much time because it's much smaller. But if you're into bird, indeed, you can stay another half day, and maybe there's other things to do. But to be honest, I didn't see that there are any much else to do in that area, even if my driver disagreed. Maybe I need to go back and stay a bit longer, but I didn't see anything that interesting. So where to stay? You'll be staying in Puerto Iguazu if you're in Argentina, or Foz de Iguaçu if you're on the Brazilian side. I stay in type of travel lodge kind of thing, nothing fancy. It was a big room, super clean and cheap, and I paid £15 a night. So I'm gonna put the link in the description if you're interested. And it was much cleaner than most of the £50 place that I paid for during that trip. So I totally recommend it. And also that side have more hotels and restaurants and things to do because it's a bigger town than the town on the Argentina side. One tip, however, it's if you're in a rush, the town in Argentina is much closer to the fall than the town in Brazil. And apparently it's more fun. I mean, if you're a young backpacker, I totally recommend it. So that leads me to the next point, how to get around the park. On the Argentinian side, you have 3 parts, as you can see on the map: Superior Trail, Inferior Trail, and the main attraction called Garganta del Diablo, the Devil Throat, the intense one that everyone wants to see. What I like about the Argentinian side is that it's more of a hiking trail. It takes about 5 hours to visit the whole park, even more if you are trying to capture everything. I started with the lower trail because it takes an hour and a half and it's very spectacular. And it gets you into a very different viewpoint. It gives you really the wow factor. So this is what you can see at the beginning of my video. This place is great to do long exposure and get really close to the small waterfall. There's even a hotel there. So if you want to beat the crowd and you can afford it, you should stay there. Then you have the upper circuit where you have a view from above. And you can use your camera to do some kind of drone shot, except from that I didn't find it very memorable. So if you're short on time, I'll skip upper circuit. After that, you have to take a train or to walk about an hour to the main attraction, the Devil Throat. A quick note, all this is pretty tiring, but there's food and drinks, you can get a coffee. However, be careful with your food because there's a lot of coatis, which are South American raccoons, and monkeys. They're just rolling around you, waiting to steal your food, so be extra careful. On the Brazilian side, the park is pretty far from town, so it took me about 45 minutes to an hour by public transport to get there. And then once inside the park, you'd have to take another bus to reach the waterfall. So take that into consideration when planning for your time there. However, it takes maybe 2 to 3 hours to visit. It's just because it's so much fun there. I really like that side. You had plenty of rainbows, and it was just so much fun. And Brazilian people are happiness magnet, They are warm, welcoming, they have delicious food. If you have any further question in terms of logistics or anything, just drop them in the comments. And I'm here to help you. So the price, I forgot to tell you the price of the entrance, which is about $50 to $20 on both sides, depending on exchange rate. Argentina is usually cheaper. I will explain more on that in the next video when I go through the logistics of traveling around Argentina. The best season to go and see the waterfalls, in their full flow, full water, is late March to May. I was there in April. So just try to avoid Easter holiday, just because of the crowd, and weekends as well, if you can. And finally, time to talk about the gear. What are you all waiting for? What was the gear? So as you can see in the video, I'm using a FUJIFILM X-T4. Super grateful for the way they're sealing of this camera, even though sometimes this camera really frustrates me. But still the love of my life for the time being. I paired it with the 16mm f1.4 to get this wide view. I could have even gone wider, but that was more than enough. That's why on the first day, and I could also do some video. And on the second day, when I was in Brazil, I just used the 23mm f2 with a polarizer. So this is the one here, a super handy light. I just wanted to travel light, and this is the lens. So yeah, only one lens per day. Because of the splash of water, there's no time to be messing around, and I'm not a fan of zoom because I'm too undecided. Anyway, these lenses are weather sealed as well, so I usually don't care about this kind of marketing speech, but it was definitely needed there. And to achieve the long exposure, I had this one, my ND filter by KNF Concept. I was at ND8 most of the time. It was super bright. So, NVD, variable ND filter. So, yeah, super cool. But I'm going to give you a tip. If you want to shoot the rainbow, you have to remove the filter because otherwise there will be no rainbow in your pictures. Take that note. Camera bag, you have to go waterproof, of course. So I had my trustworthy provoked. There's still stuff in there, but yeah. There we go. I love this bag. It's the best. I will review it soon. Anyway, I'm sure you see later on YouTube. Everyone has one. And don't even think about bringing a tripod. It's just too busy. And the platform is shaking. What I was doing, I was like holding the camera very strongly or using my neck for the added pressure, like to have like some smooth footage. And in terms of navigating around and taking picture, my advice is really to observe the crowd and see where everyone congregates. And also, people come and go. They come in a wave. They have like school group. Oh my God, school groups. Try to avoid them, but they only take one sort of picture, and they're pretty quick. So just wait, be patient. And in the meantime, you can look at the details. You can squat down. You can turn the camera down. Shoot through the rail. Look behind you. Always look behind you. There's always something interesting. And find some composition with people, like people are appreciating the waterfall. If there's anything romantic happening, proposal, I don't know. So you are here to tell a story. So you should include some of the crowd really in your picture. Like I did this shot here, like I did this long exposure, but I kept the people in there just to show that it's actually, I don't have the whole waterfall to myself. On the Brazilian side, because it was a sunny day, the splash of water was creating this mist, and the sun, the light ray from the sun created this like pro-mist effect. So it was creating like a great perspective to take picture. I was tired of taking the same shot, and I thought it's now time to take picture of what's around the waterfall, including people, empty trail. This is where the 35 minutes was pretty handy. I just rewired my brain as if I was doing street photography, and I'd end up with like the 3 favorite shots of the day, which are this one. Yeah, there we go. This is, in my opinion, this is how you should shoot a waterfall. Just observe the atmosphere and capture what you see. What you see happening around the waterfall. This is what I'm trying to say, basically. Anyway, so that's it. That's conclude this episode of my adventure around the Iguazu Falls. I hope you enjoyed the content. If you do, please give us a like, give us a subscribe, and because it goes a long way. Spend a lot of time making these videos and getting some camera confidence. It goes a long way, seriously. And I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching, and live inspired.